Hi, everyone, and welcome to a review of the resources for Week 9, Labor Market Research. So this is a lot of times what students thought this class was going to be about. Which careers make a lot of money, and how do I get into those careers? So there are important reasons that is a focus for students, and there are some perspective changing ideas that we want to introduce as well that kind of help temper that idea to finding a career that fits you well, and the money can work itself out in a lot of ways. So it's hard to strike the balance, but we are trying to do that in this class of it is okay to want to make a lot of money. That could be a really good thing if you're doing it for the right reasons and the right motivations. It can also be limiting yourself by saying, oh, I can't do that career because it won't make the kind of money I want to make, even though it's something I would really enjoy and be passionate about and could serve others with. So what role does money play? How much money will make one happy and healthy and live a good life? They're really deep questions. And what this lesson is going to do is help students find out a ballpark information on how much certain careers make using labor market research. So finding out what the ballpark pay is, those tools, and how much demand. Is that career going to be around in the future? Does it have growth happening? And so it's nice to know some of those details and some of those industry pieces of information. So as we dive into this week, it's great that we have another time where the reading in the chapter really builds on the topic as well. So in chapter 6, we have this: you have to set aside your calling in order to support your family, with that underlying idea of, I would do that, but it doesn't make enough money to support my family. And there's some great conversations you can have from that chapter. This is a chapter for me personally that I've grappled with and studied and tried to understand for myself. So I try to share in this lesson some really personal information about my journey in trying to make enough money to support a large family. And I try to just allow students to see that even though I'm in a career that has really good pay, money is never not a worry. It kind of is an always there thing. Um, One of the things I sometimes bring up, and I believe is in the outline as well, is how many of the students feel like they're good at managing money. Because sometimes people think, oh, if I just make enough money, I won't ever have to manage it. Like I can just buy whatever I want, I can eat out whenever I want, I can go on vacation whenever I want. And there's this heresy out there as if I make a lot of money, I don't have to worry about managing it, when that's just not true. So personal financial management as a skill in managing your career can be a really powerful thing as well. So it's a great thing to highlight. As students come into this week, they're reading chapter 6 and studying up on this. So responding to that discussion. There's two main activities in that chapter. One of them has to do with a conversation with someone you respect about your motivations for the work you do. Is a part of your motivation money? Is there other parts of your motivation that are important as well? And then the second one is identifying a few things about your work. Maybe that's their work as a student that are most meaningful, and then discussing that and sharing that with someone as well. It says maybe in a home evening to talk about the importance of honest work and serving others in your professional career. So the idea of maybe your calling can still be fulfilled if the pay isn't exactly right what you want. Maybe there are ways to still make that work. So I share a slide where I put out things like, I do a lot of work on my house on my own. Like I've learned how to do some of those home management things. I do a lot of the work on my farm on my own, so I don't have to pay someone else to do that. I do my own taxes. I try to be as self-reliant and skilled as I can, all with that motivation of like, if I save money by not paying for some of these things to be done, that builds on my salary as well. And so painting that picture, giving them an idea, talking a little bit about benefits as well. Pay and benefits are part of that equation. So there's a lot of rich discussion about how does money work in a career, and how do you manage money well. This lesson isn't going to go into, okay, how do you create budgets and how do you um, account for your expenditures and your incomes, but it's going to introduce concepts of, it's good to know about how much you're going to make and what kind of lifestyle that would afford. And so here it is. This labor market case study document, there is a slide as well that highlights what this is about. We just identified 8 careers across different industries and areas that would be good to have students dive into. They can certainly, in their group, pick a career that's more specific to something they're interested in and dive into that. We just know that those 8 are there. And we don't want people getting hung up on like, oh, I'm trying to look up social media influencer and that's not there. Like that would fit into some other category. So these are ones that we know are there. And there may be others that would be totally perfect for them to look into to make it more custom to them. Let's dive into a little more into the slides. There's some great content out there of why do students go to college? They're doing it primarily, more than half, because they want to get a good job. Now we understand at BYU Idaho, that's not the only motivation or the only outcome they should be seeking, but it is a big motivator that I'm here to get an education so I can qualify for better employment, better pay across my lifetime. And so citing that here is really helpful. And then introducing the idea of our lesson. Students make better decisions when provided with labor market data and relevant information like job demand, starting salary, benefits, associated skills, education requirements for majors and associated careers. So that data is available. It's just helping them know where to look for it. This video about preparing for high wage jobs really explains the difference between here's the published number of what that pay is, and here's what it really looks like if you're well skilled. Like a high skilled plumber can make more money than a low skilled attorney, is one of the examples in the video. So it's your pay is a lot of times connected to how good are you at that. If you're really skilled, you're going to be more in demand and be able to get a higher wage and a higher salary. So to touch back on the career exploration model, almost every week this is in the slides. What's nice about it this week is this lesson is really going to focus on the lower half of the diamond, being aware of career possibilities and pay, industry and demand, and then places like what employers are known to be really good employers that have good benefits, that take care of their employees. So all of that has to do with that idea of pay and leads to that idea of calling, where we're going to serve, and hopefully our financial and providing for our families' needs are taken care of as we do that service. This funnel really summarizes what we've tried to put together as what's a great approach to labor market and economic research. So you plug your top 3 to 5 careers in the top, and you start to filter through, okay, in the workforce, is that in demand? What are the trends in that industry? What's the economy doing? How does that affect overall pay? Okay, what locations are those 3 to 5 careers more in demand in? Are those isolated in certain areas? Are they everywhere? Like public school teachers are going to be pretty widespread. That's everywhere. Every small community across the country has that. Other jobs might be localized to specific places. So knowing that location is one of the biggest indicators to how much pay will be. Some areas cost more to live, therefore those jobs pay more. That's an insight. Sometimes students don't know that. Now, what employment am I going to get? And then is that going to work to provide for my family? So this filtering process and the questions that are here can provide really good discussion and teaching of how this process works. Introducing the resources that we have. There's a great app for this. It's called the Career Info app, or online. It's bls.gov/OOH for Occupational Outlook Handbook. So this will be the resource they use for that labor market case study. Here's the 8 careers we've identified. Certainly use a custom one if they feel like they want to. And when you go to the OOH, these are the points that are listed in the menu. So they just follow through each menu bar, look at the information, gather that information. State and area information allows people to look at, well, in what states and what regions are those jobs more dense, or where do they pay more? So interesting pieces that can be grabbed from that website. At the end, there is lots of industry videos. So it's kind of a broad sweeping, let's be aware of what's in that industry. So maybe check this out beforehand. If you're in a cohort or a group of students, you could choose one of these videos that might be relevant to them. You could also kind of pull up this menu in class and say, here's these many videos. Which one should we watch? We have time to maybe watch 1 or 2. They range from 2 to 5 minutes. So that certainly would work as well. So a lot of rich discussion from the book about balance and family and providing, all the way through. Let's look at real tools that show us information about pay. So pretty excited about this week coming up, and to share with our students that money is a great way to think about your career. Not the only way, but it's really important. So hope that helps. And as they go into the journal after this class, let me just highlight that real quick. They are going to use the Occupational Outlook Handbook, which they learn about in class. And then there's also another resource that we didn't cover in class that allows them to see just another place where the same information is packaged a little differently. So they review some careers of interest in those 2 areas. And then the reflection is basically, how has learning about these groups and clusters helped you understand the world of work? What are you taking away as you move forward? What was the most helpful information for you to discover using these websites? So great tools for our students to dive into and reflect on as well. So best of luck. Hope you have a great experience, and share what you feel is relevant on this topic of economic research and labor market research. Thanks, everybody.